Hey there, Avengers from Blake High School. You're going to be setting up your biodigester the same way that we're setting up this one here, because you built this one. This is at the Faith Lutheran Evangelical Church, 4 miles from USF, and you're going to be going back and forth. At the community garden here, you can see we're growing this food using the fertilizer from this, but I wanted to go over some of the design features to make sure we understood what it is that we actually built and how it's different from the previous Solar Cities IBC tanks. In our tutorials, we usually put a feeding pipe here diagonally across from the fertilizer outflow pipe. And we talked about the hydraulic retention time of having the food waste travel across the tank. That is desirable, but what we found in field tests is that when we put the 4-inch pipe here, because this is flexible, it tends to waggle a bit. And over time, that can unseat the uniseal, especially when it's a big 4-inch pipe when you're pouring food in, and that can lead to some leakage, which we don't want. So for the first time in our Solar Cities 7-year history of building the signature IBC tank digesters that we invented, we've moved the feeding pipe back to the center, which is where we started years ago. But years ago, we used the 2-inch hole that was naturally in the cap to put a 2-inch pipe, and that was fine when you're in somebody's basement or when you're indoors and you're using a food grinder. But the 2-inch pipe is too small to put food down when you're not grinding it up. So we went to the 4-inch pipe, and with a 4-inch pipe, you need it to be nice and rigid. So we put the 4-inch pipe now, drilling a 5-inch hole into the cap of the IBC, which is just large enough to put a 5-inch hole and put a 4-inch uniseal in, and then put the pipe in. So this is now rigid. It doesn't move that much. And if it does, it doesn't move the uniseal, it moves only the lid. You see the lid is waggling, but not the uniseal. So that's the crucial part of having it in the lid here. The gas has then been moved. The gas was coming out the lid in our other design. Now the gas is next to the lid where the tank bows up so we can get the gas out. But the fertilizer remains in the same location on the same side as the drain, and it goes into the garden, makes it easier. So we do keep that the same place. We're doing a pressure test right now by filling it with water. We've already put the manure in, and we keep the gas valve closed so that it compresses the air as it fills. Once it gets past the water line, gets past the hole in the fertilizer pipe, then it's compressing the air as the water goes in. And then when we open the valve, you can see there's a lot of pressure coming out there. That means that the gas is being stored. We also do pressure tests that are even better by taking soapy water and putting it around where there's possible leaks. We don't have any soap today, but that shows us that indicator that it's nice and strong, so there is gas being compressed in here. So it looks like everything is A-okay with this model. It is our first test. We would like to encourage you to keep coming up with new ideas, field test your ideas. There was one young man yesterday who was filled with ideas. Why couldn't we do this? Why couldn't we do that? How about if we add this? And he'd say, do you think it'll work? And I looked him dead in the eyes and I said, no. He said, why? And I said, because I'm an adult and I feel like saying no to discourage you. Then we laughed and we said, actually, your idea is brilliant. Give it a try. Don't let adults stand in your way and say, no, that won't work. Nobody knows until you actually try it out in the field, whether it's a good idea or an idea in need of revision. And there are no bad ideas. So through the years, we've come up with this design. We think this is ideal, but you may come up with something better. 4-inch pipe, 4-inch uniseal and a 5-inch hole in the cap of the IBC tank. 2-inch uniseal with a 2-inch threaded adapter just jammed in. And then a piece to let it rise up, and then some reducers to go to 1/2 inch with a valve, and then 2-inch uniseal in a 3-inch hole with a pipe, a T, and an elbow for the fertilizer to go out. That's the Solar Cities IBC biodigester, and any variant of that you come up with will add to the wonderful munificence we can give back to the world. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays.